don't care about that. Break, jump and walk to police and make it more. Oh yeah, we got the blues, win without that phony too. We won't stop and we won't slow. We got that gun that for every blow. Spamming local, spamming local, spamming local too. Spamming local, blah 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 too too. I feel just like a retard. Oh, when we're kicking ass in war. I don't care what they say, no bullet ways.
See, I have to unmute the big guys after doing it. And they were all quiet. It's just, you know, when McLeod's not here, everything is working. Can you guys hear me all right?
Nope.
Yes. Nope. Good. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Push to Talk out there in the Etherland. Gargoons. Everybody's hating on us already. I love it. Bees. Bees, no bees. Everybody bees. Hello, everybody. Hello, Barghost. We had a good chat in another Discord the other day.
The Gurgoons and the Gurbees just proves that you did the stream right and it's
all right. You know, notice I skipped the intro because I'm boycotting the intro until we get another one. Hey, we've got Lizry Live. Lizry Live. Tier 1. Thank you. 16 straight months. I did my 41-month sub because I was getting commercials.
63 months. Wow, that's like 5 years and 3 months.
I know, that's insane, isn't it? Who'd you get 63 months? Where is it? Where'd you see that?
You said that.
No, 16. Lizry.
Oh.
So thank you, Lizry. I'm only 41.
That funny accent.
It is. It's that Pennsyltucky accent. It's there. It's real. Lizzie Fox. Aha. All right, Liz. Let's see. We got lots to talk about. We've got a couple guests here that you can't see until they talk, and I got to go fix because that just looks ugly up there on the top screen. We've got Apple Pear with us today. We've got Dirk S with us today.
Dork, sterile.
That's not nice. He worked really hard to keep us safe. And by the way, I hit him after 20 hours. I'm like, hey, why don't you be on the show? He's like, oh yeah, sure. I haven't slept in 20 plus hours. I'll do it. Sure. Yeah. And then we got Noisy, who I just reached out to when we were all chatting earlier in the week about all this crazy stuff happening with CCP and EVE Online. And he said, sure, yeah, I'll come out. And I think you've got a recent article you just put out there, right? Noisy?
Yes, I did. And hello, everyone.
Yeah, so you should go out and keep that top of the New York bestseller list there. Noisy's got his latest book out there, and please go buy it. Hey, SR Slee, just subscribed for 3 months. Thank you, SR Slee. And we also have Sothrasil, our favorite chairman.
Hi.
He's like, hi, I'm here. And did I get everybody? I think so. RJ's out there.
He hates me. He really does.
Well,
That's because you said he wasn't really your CEO.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about my RL CEO, not my in-game CEO.
Yeah.
Eve is RL.
What you actually missed is RJ describing exactly how sweaty he was after being out there in 95% humidity for hours cutting his grass, and that was just disgusting.
It's literally 100.
But we did record it. We did record it, so we'll have it for you guys later.
I have sweat in places you can't imagine, or had rather.
Why are you bringing that up? It's terrible.
People love to know that.
All right. So we got Buttercup7739 with a subscription with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. And we also have Wilhelm Arcturus for 1 month streak. Excellent. Thank you. See, do we have anybody else I missed? Nobody. Wow, that's a lot of subs for the station on our show. So thank you everybody for supporting. I'm just drinking beer.
We have missed. Hi, Mist.
We have missed.
Yes, I am also here.
Yeah.
I think everyone's coming out to hear us, to hear what the goon spin on the no local is going to be, how we can spin this into a.
Well, I just want to say that we are all thankful that Mist has fixed his sound problem, so the audience is going to be very happy with you, Mist, today. Newbie, we've cut out his 14,000 boxes that he got from Newegg. I secretly think he's funneling all the money from the show into his own personal computer software company.
Yeah, I'm building a supercomputer.
Yeah.
Or a giant box fort.
Did I even mention local? No local in the thing? Maybe I did.
Local? No local? Local.
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 I had to live in commands and learn that and fix shit. It was
Yeah, but there is a thing, especially if you say that in HQ chat, then something's going to happen. So that's just.
So the best thing about all these changes is I'm going on vacation. I'm already in vacation mode. I got like 5 days. I'm on vacation. That means my wife has been packing for 2 weeks for vacation, and then I have to pack the car up. So that's gonna be great.
Have you started conditioning your liver for daytime drinking?
It's pretty much I live on like vodka gimlets for in beer for a week. I don't eat. I just drink. I take my thermal coffee mug in the pool. I don't go in the ocean because sharks. Man of war. But I do send my family, who I have large insurance policies out for, into the ocean. So.
And funny how you kind of cover them with, like bacon and some kind of bloody flesh, and say it's sunscreen.
Well, that's how he catches sharks.
That's right. No, it's a wild horrendous.
I don't see nothing.
Oh God, he's gonna tell us to shut the fuck up.
I'm not gonna.
Just stop.
Stop what? What are we stopping?
No, just soft.
Soft.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell everybody shut up. Just soft.
Soft needs that every now and again.
He does.
You too.
I'm doing G-Sol tasks.
So, that's good. Great. Tell everybody what you're doing. What system are you in? Where are you jumping to?
I'm blind jumping jump raiders to jump beacons.
Cool.
You should all be in Aquarius right now because that's where I'm.
Are those all J's?
But by the way, Chaos 579 gets the award of the day, the quote of the week. NC might undock if they don't see anyone in local.
That's great.
I like it.
They look out the windows and be like, I don't see anyone.
Wow, I'm actually being trolled on Jabber. Frickin' Lupo has just said I'm lying. I'm not actually working. Wow.
All right, so let's get into the meat of it. Anybody think the Drifters are going to be back?
Yeah, probably.
I hope so, because I love hearing Dork and command comms with the Drifters because he likes them so.
I hope they're smart and do the suggestion Aranda's made and not have the Drifters and local happening at the same time, because then you get good results and it's completely not sure what's going to happen and you cannot make a good decision about it.
Oh, I hope they come back and they actually have a purpose and something they're trying to do, as opposed to just shooting everything.
That's also
That's the
true.
thing. It's like a half-assed effort with the Drifters at the moment. They come round, they get everyone excited, they get ready to the climax, the final stage, the time is ticking down, it's almost time to go, and then they're like, yeah, nah, not today.
Did you say
So they're like women.
Did you say the C word?
No, he
Climax,
said climax.
yeah.
Climax? That's C word.
Like orgasm, but
Yeah.
climax.
A C word.
Yeah.
Because you
So
got to
is
think
church.
about it. If you're going to have something, don't have it half-assed. If Drifters are coming around to shoot your stuff, have it so they shoot it, they turn up at the timers, kill them, and carry on. Not be like, ooh, we're maybe a threat. Ooh, we're maybe not a threat. Maybe you should take us seriously. Maybe you should go home and play other video games, because that's what I've been doing.
By the way,
Well,
for anybody in the audience who thinks that I was being facetious with referring to Dirk as being up for like 20 plus hours, Dirk was up.
No, I actually did that.
Yeah,
That's
he actually
true.
did that. That's true. I went to bed. I got back up the next morning, and I'm like, Dirk, you still here? He's like,
To be
yeah.
fair, he does that all the time.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I gave him a pass the other night, because I knew how tired he was. So we were dicking around in command comms, and we're running around, playing
Whack-a-mole.
and we were trolling Kanan on Global. So Dirk actually drug me up to Kanan's fleet because I said something about Drake's, but Dirk got blamed because I did my best English gentleman impression I could. So he thought it was Dirk that was trolling him. So then Dirk drugged me up there to get me in trouble, and I ended up having to stay up for like 4 more hours playing Fozzie and dropping frickin' TCUs. So I'm still going to pay Dirk back.
Oh, Dirk made you do actual work.
I know.
Yeah.
But at least that's your job, newbie. You shouldn't be G.
It's not my job after 20 hours, because he's not the only one who's up for 20 hours at a time.
But you're a director, sub-director in GSOL. Then ping somebody else to.
There's no one to ping. Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to tell Fuzzy, hey,
that's his
what's
job.
up?
Maybe you should get Eric to do something sometime.
I don't have the
I
roles,
did.
man.
He did shit all morning. He was out in Fountain. He was like everywhere.
So,
He's a-
total
he's a
newbie,
hero.
as a GSOL person, you probably know a bit about logistics and all. So could you tell us a bit about access list when it comes to gunners, and how, if I understand it right, you can't give someone the gunner seat without giving them the ability to rip out modules?
That's not true.
That's not true.
Okay, because there is a lot of people saying the reason you don't have everyone as a gunner because you could rip out the module.
No, you could
No.
shoot somebody you're not supposed to shoot.
Yeah, giving someone access to a Keepstar with a Doomsday is...
You're right.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's you have to be somewhat responsible because things
Well,
aren't.
then how the
cheap.
hell did Dirk get gunning?
I know this. I'm going to get to that point. Even though I know Dirk didn't do it, I blame Dirk, and it's kind of become a meme. But some of these structures have fighters, and throwing fighters at a blob of drifters is like really dumb. So they lose all the fighters, and then they don't tell anybody. And when you go to do something with the structure, it's like, yeah. So that's why you don't want everybody doing it, because
And also, if somebody's sitting in there, AFK-ish, or just wants to be an asshole, spy, then you need to find a director in that corporation to kick him out. And yeah, good luck finding a director in Goonwaffe or in DJs to kick somebody out at certain times. So then you have to ping people like Mittens or Arid or Tuzzy, etc. to do that.
Finding a director in Waffa is easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Pestering a director in Waffa is stupid.
yes, it's
But
it's
finding
dangerous.
them is easy.
This
Let's
is
see, use
dangerous.
mittens on.
This is awesome.
I
because
always recommend that you ping the director in Jabber and ask them first if they're there. They like
No,
that.
first you say hi.
Hi.
hi,
And then
yeah,
you-
hi, yeah, and then you
And the
wait
next
for a
line is, are you
response.
there?
After
And then
15
you
minutes
ask
of
them-
waiting, right? By
You
the
say,
way,
hi, are you there? Can I ask you?
Can I ask you a question? Is definitely number 3, yes.
By the
yeah,
way,
I mean-
rule is if you ask a director, somebody in your corp, or anything on Jabber, send the fucking question, and then be done with it.
But yeah, I mean, comparatively, finding a director in DJs or WAF is really easy compared to some of these corps that we have that don't even join Kremlin with.
Oh, yesterday I had somebody angry at me. That was funny.
Well, Apple Pear, I was angry with you.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the
I don't
greatest
mind that.
thing is,
Wow.
the greatest thing is, Apple brought up, hey, don't idle in a station, and I believe everybody blamed one of your alts for idling in a station and then logging off, and I couldn't man it, and I let it ref and die, and it was terrible.
Oh, well, that's one of my alts? Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
You know,
you wouldn't think that when somebody went online, it would keep them in that slot. I mean, that's a thing. I really say that for information for people, right? Yeah, I mean, if you're manning and another reason to limit the number of people, right, is if you're manning a Citadel and then you say, oh, I'm just going to log out, or you lose connection or whatever, guess what? You're the guy in that Citadel, and only a director that owns that Citadel or higher can kick you out. So that's another reason to limit what happens with them.
Here's another thing that happens. If someone's already in the Gunners, it gives you an overlay over the whole EVE window with a button that basically says, well, this guy's already in the Gunners. And then you can say, well, alright, I'm just going to cancel it. There's also an X in the corner, right? And if you click that X instead of cancel, the overlay stays and you actually can't use anything. You need to restart your whole client.
That's low.
Oh, they need to fix that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But talking about people angry, yesterday I had a Corp CEO get angry at me because in Kremlin because I had some people who decided it was a good idea in my fleet to idle in staging and Horum Peplings and just steal them, and so I called them out. But that, as we said earlier, sometimes Corp the directorate is not in the right place, so that Corp director was not there. So I poked Alliance directors. And then it got pinged out to all, and then he got angry at me because we pinged it out to all or something like that I didn't do. But it was pretty fun, and he got more and more angry. Said sorry in the end, so that was cool.
Answer that phone.
It was Mom.
Okay.
Oh, I like your mom.
I know,
Tell
Mom's
Mom
awesome.
hi.
No, we're not talking to Mom. But she is cool. We love her. She's very nice. I like my parents.
She is very nice.
Yeah, Apple, if my people are ever stupid, just I want an FC to tell me, and then we'll just deal with it, you know.
Oh yeah, but you are a Kremlin, or newbie is in Kremlin, but if somebody else, other director from some like Corp is not in Kremlin, then yeah, how do I get in contact with them?
Yeah, I understand. And by the way, we're always in Kremlin because we never turn our machines off, and we're always there.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
But we may be gone, but usually one of us is around. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, we never want our Corp people to, I mean, in general, right? You don't want your Corp people to make things hard for the people who are doing things like FCing or coordinating, because you never imagine that, you know, 90% of your play time is doing stuff in the background and not actually playing the game when you get in some of those positions. So people should be sensitive to that. Just letting people in general know. Right, we all know.
Oh, Hans, yeah, that works, like setting them to -10, etc. But that then people don't learn, etc. And like, I want a Corp director to deal with it and like teach that person how to do things and yell at them. And
also, that's just handing off the problem to the next FC.
And I gotta say, Eric, 90%. That estimate seems low.
You know what? I forget what I use as a reference to 90%. That's how bad I am.
90% of your time being the back end stuff and not actually playing the game. That seems.
I was being a little generous, horrendous.
Did you know 69% of statistics on the internet are made,
including that one?
I've actually heard that Eric prefers the back end stuff over playing anyway.
That's just so bad.
The thing is, he could be having back end right now as he's talking to us and drinking his beer, because he's got that amazing overlay that takes away the background and only shows.
We shout out to Handyman87 and Dejansma. Dejansma subscribe with Twitch Prime for a second month, and Handyman converted from Twitch Prime to a tier 1 sub. So thank you.
I have been angry. Well, in the last war, I was angry at one person that was yelling at one profusely, and I told everybody, "Yeah, just don't talk in comms now. Don't talk in fleet chat." and then hey, somebody is warping a Titan to a gate, and was like, yeah, I'm warping my Titan to a gate in enemy space. I didn't want you to talk about that. So I was pretty angry and yelling at that person at that point.
I do just want to point out real quick that Jan SMA, it was a poor name choice from him, but he's who you can blame for some of these things.
Okay.
So speaking of blame,
Yes.
what do you guys think about all the forum salt?
Hang on, can I just quickly put a joke in before we move on?
Sure, as long as it's better than any of my jokes.
I've got a question. I don't really have one. I just like hearing my own voice when talking to 500 people on multiple fleets. Thank you, FC. Well, have we...
For those problems we have Minicom, and they solve those problems for me. I don't have to solve those.
For those problems we have Newbie, who I think muted Mistwarden halfway.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more from Mist there, and he just stopped. Or seemed to.
Okay, there's no chatter channels. Sadly, there is no chatter command channel. Like, wouldn't it be great that you could only hear your command channel and not everything that's below there? That would.
Absolutely. So what's our thought on drifters? Getting us back to the story, because we're halfway through the show almost already. I think they're probably fixed, and they probably were always supposed to go to anomalies and all that stuff.
The only thing I can say about it is it was stupid bullshit things that happened with it, and bad enacted, and didn't really give some fun things to do, and made sure there are no worse in Nullsec at the moment anymore. So yeah, I think it was the drifter things. I'm glad it's gone now, and I hope it doesn't come back, or at least not in this form it has been, and we will see what happens with it. But yeah, this was.
I think I'll be back on Wednesday.
I'm not saying that CCP rushed it out the door early or before it was finished in order to distract from the SP for cash thing, but I really do think they should have taken a little more time getting.
I honestly think the change.
There is the theory out there that they actually didn't intend to put the drifters on the live servers, but someone pushed the wrong button instead of putting them on the test servers.
Oops,
I think that's wrong as well. Given the fact that basically there was a thing where, 6 weeks ago now, the Invasion release came out, and then every Wednesday after that there was a new thing for the Invasion, and then once the World Arc came in, which was the big thing that everyone was wondering, oh, this is bigger than a Fortis or whatever. Once that came in, the Wednesday after that, I think it's part of the release. I think it's actually part of the Invasion, and the reason it's being turned on and off is because CCP can't decide whether or not they actually want to listen to us telling them how bad.
But they came in on the Thursday evening, not on a Wednesday.
Well, the thing that I see about this is that it seemed, if you took a look at the Troglavian Invasion release, that seemed to be okay, and when it was released, because it skipped Singularity, they released one part of it, fixed the bugs, released the second part, fixed the bugs, released the third part, fixed the bugs. And I think they were going to try to do that with the drifters, but the code seemed like it was placeholder code instead of like real code.
I truly think that they deployed it. They didn't put it on Singularity to test because they wanted to surprise us, and I think the code ran away. That's what I think.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
And then they had many iterations of fixing it. In fact, with this last release of whatever they just patched, the last two patches that went out with the launcher, I lost all my accounts in launcher again, and I added 4 of them back in because I wasn't going to put all of them back in, and then magically we had another patch, and magically everything was back and fixed. Like all my clients were reset to standard. Everything was messed up. And then they all...
There's a good comment in Twitch chat about like us failing to realize that we're the players of a game run by a game company, and we don't have a say on the content that they put out. They're going to put out that content, and he's got a fair point. We don't have a say in what they put out. We just have a say in whether or not we want to engage with it in a way that is fun for us. You know, it's a game. We're supposed to be enjoying it.
I will agree with Dirk and whoever said that in there. CCP defines the rules and we play there. The feedback that I think and what they should take from that feedback is, hey, we get it in low sec and high sec. You're creating content and you're creating big events, and you always have, but nullsec has always been under the purview of the player. That's where PvP happens, and we are the story and the content there. You can change mechanics, but don't push a storyline over there and become the enemy, right? In this case, CCP became the attacking entity. It wasn't the drifters, it was CCP's code, and I think that's what people get irritated with.
That's not even the end of it. The real problem with the drifters is that they are unimaginative, they are very bugged. Like, I'm not talking 1 or 2 bugs, I'm talking like 10 plus here. And they are just no fun to deal with them. Well, because they are just there's one way to deal with them. You throw bombs at them from a structure.
Well, when 20 people can defend all our regions and all our stations, you're excluding a large part of the player base, right? And that's just not good design. The other thing is, over on my Twitch channel, right, which I don't post a lot of things, but I did stream over 2.5 hours of a bug drifter on a Citadel. 2 bug drifters on a Citadel. You couldn't shoot them. You couldn't do them. They just warped in and out. One just sat there. They couldn't shoot the Citadel. You didn't know what they were going to do. And it was many hours, probably 6 or 7 hours that they did what they did before downtime. But I did record, 2 hours and 41 minutes or so of it. It was that buggy. And
somebody killed the anchor for?
Yeah, actually...
There's no telling what does it, because sometimes they do it and sometimes they don't.
I seem to remember that was actually an unfit Citadel as well. It was one of the bad
ones. Well, somebody said it was unfit, and I went to it, and I could man it, and it was fit. So, I don't know when it got fit.
That might have been another structure in that same system then, because
it was probably some GSOL dude bringing an emergency fighter loadout.
Yeah, there were no fighters.
But we do appreciate our GSOL fighter resupply.
But when I went to the Citadel, the 3 of them were already behaving oddly. All 3, you couldn't tell who the anchor was because all 3 were constantly warping in and out of range. So it was different behavior for them. So it was like luck that you killed one of them. And then when I killed one, the battleship was 580 something away, and then the other cruiser just warped to and from it constantly.
Yeah, I mean, it's bugged. I don't think the drifters thing is, I don't know, they may bring it back. The only issue I have with it is they were trying to say, oh, it's just like the Triglavian stuff on HiSec. Well, if you go into the Triglavians aren't going everywhere in HiSec. They're in systems. It acts like an incursion, so you get a separate chat window when you're in one of those systems that says, hey, you're in a Triglavian invasion.
Go where they're not.
Right. Where, I mean, maybe if they added that for the drifters, that would probably calm people down a little bit. I don't know. But they're certainly not an engaging gameplay from a group of players' perspective. Maybe 1 or 2 people actually like cutting Citadels for 20 hours at a time, but I just don't see any value. They don't drop anything really. I mean, they have a little blue goo, but I want one of those 500k points or 500k webs to drop so I could fit it on my Titan, because obviously, that's good technology to have.
Yeah, Apex Zero is bringing up the drifters are killing players now. And to tell you, Apex Zero, they are now, but for the last 2 weeks they weren't.
I mean, the other thing as well is like which drifters are killing players, because there's I think we flagged the Orion Horrendous, was it? That was the specific drifter event drifter, and then you know, if it's just like Apollos or whatever, then that could be just standard.
It was
drifters,
Orion,
right?
So yesterday afternoon, Spanx did a drive-by in our Mumble, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm over in DW, and I was hanging out in this belt, and all of a sudden some dude named Orion fucking warped in on me and killed me instantly. What is that?" And it's like, "Why didn't you warp out?" He goes, "Dude, it landed, I looked at it, and I was dead."
Yeah. That'll happen.
Yeah, that's also
sounds
not
about right.
awesome gameplay either, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're just out doing your thing, you know. And the question I've always had from the beginning of this drifter thing was, what is CCP's motive? What do they hope to gain from this mechanic, right? Because if you put a mechanic out there because you're a gaming company, it should be something that your customers enjoy, right? If you're in the business of creating things that your customers don't enjoy, you're not going to be in business very long, right?
It might not even be a thing that, you know, we enjoy initially, but if they can get it right eventually, then and it's positive for the game, then sure, we'll. But this isn't positive. It's just
I don't know.
awful.
I don't know.
Well,
I've had people defending this to me and saying that I'm completely wrong when the entirety of the statement they disagreed with was tedium is not good gameplay.
See, the
thing is, usually when you deal with tedium in a game, you get rewarded for it. What's the reward of dealing with drifters?
Burnout.
Well, you get to keep your Citadel.
But
You get to go back to your real life.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, if somebody's ratting in a system and they have no opportunity to get away from them, where is the good gameplay there, right? Is this something that perhaps CCP intended to just seek out bots and get rid of them?
Okay, I think that you guys are like focusing too much on the mechanics and not what CCP is trying to accomplish.
I just asked that question. What are they trying to accomplish? Because those mechanics don't accomplish anything.
Okay, so basically what they're trying to accomplish with the drifters is they are trying to advance the storyline to justify changing certain mechanics like local and probably asset safety and maybe a couple other things, and they may come up later on with a actual working drifter incursion, which they failed in. If you include this effort, they failed on it twice. But that's what I think is going on. They're trying to introduce new mechanics and giving a lore reason for it.
Well, maybe they can talk to us about them then.
Why do we need a lore reason to
Here's the question.
Because this is an MMORPG.
Okay, so when we went to FozzieSov, what was the lore for that change?
That would be the Entosis systems that were salvaged from sleepers and drifters, actually, from the Jove Observatory. That's why VMR Empress was killed.
But here's a question for you.
They gave us...
Aaron's just normally right about this shit.
I hate it when Horrendous is right.
I just think it's stupid to make a whole lore arc in order to change local and asset safety, if that's what we're going to do, right?
Oh, can you imagine the tiers?
What they try to do.
What was the lore for? Can I ask what was the lore for Jump Fatigue?
Honestly though, the lore takes 5 minutes to do if you're actually competent about it. It doesn't take any time at all to figure out.
But what was the lore for Jump Fatigue? Because I really want to know.
But just to come back on this, and think about this, they changing maybe changing asset safety soon, and what just happened? We killed 4 citadels of NC, 4 Keepstars, and they just let NC die and keep asset safety, and now they're going to change it for us. We're always on the bad side of that.
Tinfoil hat time.
I
need the tinfoil going.
No, wait a second. They also changed how they deal with stuck supercarriers right after we got kicked out of Declan.
they have not fixed stuck super carriers because all my supers are still at 93 PI and I can't get it.
I didn't even have supers back then, and I have a super stuck there.
Look, if you really want a tinfoil, and I'm not suggesting this is in any way accurate, all right, but Soft, really, the stuck supers, that's not the tinfoil. The tinfoil you really want to hit on with the Casino War is, why did Citadels keep getting delayed until just after we got...
Why did they ban the whole casino bullshit after the war was over?
Well, I mean, you know, you can see where a developer who's in a business to make money could look at an entity like the Imperium and go, you know, they could literally destroy the game.
I mean, there's a line from CCP here, right, where they don't interfere with player content. So they wouldn't, you know, unless they had clear and present reason right then and there to ban somebody right then and there who is fueling player-driven content, they wouldn't necessarily. And I can kind of understand that. But, I mean, on the flip side, they just dropped these drifters and every nullsec war just stopped while the drifters were there. Yeah. So, you know...
I mean, they probably realized that was a mistake. Not that they're going to admit it. I don't think they're ever going to admit that they made a mistake.
But here's the thing. They did just give us a clear warning about local being shut off.
Yeah.
And that's the right thing to do.
I think they only did that.
Yeah, that's the
after...
wait.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
So, what exactly kept them from giving us a warning about drifters?
Well, they wanted it to have impact.
So,
I mean, let's face it. If your big, huge event is going to be a surprise attack on everywhere, telling everybody kind of takes the punch.
Yeah, but we're nullsec. We're fucking nullsec. We don't give a fuck about your goddamn NPC events.
That's why we're here.
If you're doing NPC and you're doing it correctly, then you get there's signs and there's hints, right? Like, you know, if you're gonna basically, you know, invade a country, right? People see the build-up of forces, right? And it's entirely possible that they could have put hints out there in, you know, in wormholes, in sort of like drifter areas that, you know, hints at something going on with drifters.
We did have hints. It was called the you know, entire abyss. Everyone knew that the Triglavians were fighting the drifters. Everyone knew that, you know, the Triglavians were coming to K-Space. At some point there was going to be a drifter thing.
It would have been nice to see some changes in the hive systems leading up to this.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I want to address Sharpay's comment out there to me. Absolutely, drifters were not dropped in direct response for that because I watched the tweet feed from there that we were all in. It wasn't until Hilmar responded with pretty much "fuck you" back to all of us that Aerith said, "Hey, I got an idea."
I mean, Aerith's thing was directly in response to the drifters. It's the other way around.
Yep.
I kind of enjoyed those tweets.
I want to address something here that a lot of people seems to miss, and especially people who live in HiSec. If people leave nullsec, they don't go back to HiSec or lowsec. They just leave the game.
Well, they go to wormholes, because wormholes are at least some kind of interesting new mechanic for a lot of nullsec players.
Yes, but most of them will just unsub and not play anymore. And we are already seeing this. From my numbers in my fleet earlier, I can tell you, numbers are already going down. And this leads to less wars happening. This leads to less interesting gameplay, which leads to less free PR for the game, which leads to less people getting into the game. So nullsec dwindling directly affects the whole game, including HiSec.
And as we know, retention is a really big issue for CCP right now, and hasn't been a big issue in the past.
Well, so
Well,
so
it's
here's one of the things I've been thinking about with all the stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that somebody? Okay, so I don't know if we're on year 1 or year 2 now with Pearl Abyss buying them.
Year 1.
But obviously they need to turn up a profit. So the game is stagnant. I don't think anybody with a working brain would disagree that the game is stagnant. So they're trying to liven it up, and I think that somebody in CCP has said, you know what, we need to make this more exciting to attract players, knowing full well that they're probably going to lose a lot of bitter vets, but they're thinking that they'll get more influx into the game than they will lose, and they'll start a trend upward.
Yeah, but that's absolutely insane, batshit crazy thinking.
I mean,
it's batshit crazy thinking.
What else are they going to do?
But maybe sorry, because I thought Noisy was going to talk about it. What do you think? What is going to happen with this, and what the result of the blackout in Nullsec is going to be?
Okay, so the result of the blackout from an outside perspective. So I think that with the blackout, the reason for the blackout is all the Triglavian and Drifter activity. That's the lore reason, which means that if they're going to continue to have the blackout permanently, that means that they have to have a working Drifter incursion, invasion, whatever you want to call it, which would be more sane than what I've been hearing described for the last 9 days, right? So if they're going to continue with, if they're going to go with the blackout, but the dev blog, or I should say Falcon's post on the forums, said that it's an indeterminate amount of time. So it could be if we see activity drop for tremendously over 2 weeks, that you're going to just see CCP say, this is a bad idea, and just go ahead and put it back in.
And what do you think that effect of the blackout itself will be?
Okay, I wish it was coming to LowSec so I could actually mine in peace. That's in LowSec. For HighSec, or for NullSec, I'm not really sure what you crazy people are going to do, because you guys are goons, and goons are really good at min-maxing stuff, and you guys are going to come up with the optimum way, and it's not going to really affect you guys. I don't know what it's going to do to the smaller guys. You guys...
That's really the big...
Well, it's okay, so if you look at no local, I mean, goons don't care. We don't care about anything. So fine, change the game. We don't care.
We're still be YOLOing his jump freighters to beacons.
So think about
here's the thing about it, is that if you don't have a local, isn't Cloaky camping pretty much over with in the...
Yep.
Pretty much.
AFK Cloaky camping. AFK Cloaky camping. But the other thing that it gets, and this is something we didn't talk about pre-show, is when you look at mining and ratting bots, they watch local. And when a nuke comes in local, they bug out. And if you eliminate local...
D-scan.
Yeah, they use NIR2, don't they? That looks at intel channels and stuff that gets reported in your region, because you can't have it read from local. You can have it read from systems around you, but you can't actually interfere with the local client itself.
The thing
they'll just script them to spam D-scan. It's a bot. If you need something done that is repetitive and monotonous and constant, a bot is going to be good at that.
True, and it's not going to tire out, is it?
You guys are assuming. You guys are assuming that the bot needs to spam D-scan. You're assuming that the bot can't read the memory and find that ships have entered the system just from the memory.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've looked at bots in the past, from a technical perspective. A lot of them watch local, right? They're not.
By the way,
memory, but
calling it now, the bots will shift to curses.
And one thing, I'm like, I haven't stopped.
Hunters can't see on D-scan.
Yeah, sorry. And one thing I think a lot of people missed with this is when I moved through Ulsec or wherever, and I'm going to insist to say, "Hey, Apple Pear, you're there." People talk to each other because you appear local, and people talk to each other. Is this not like an? And I haven't seen that much talking about it, like about the safety aspect. But is it not also a way to get the whole community vibe, talking to each other, getting things done to each other, gone in this game? Because you don't see anymore with who are you in local, and that was always a nice way to talk to each other.
Oh yeah. So I see Apple and local, right? I'm going to say, "Hey, Apple, how you doing?" Right? And or go into your comms and chat with you. Lots of people move around like
called
that.
me out on fighters in local just the other, like.
But
actually, that's
yes,
I mean, I saw an old court member last night in local. And I was about to say hi to him.
Yeah,
no, that won't happen.
By the way, I am not against losing local. I lived in a wormhole for years. I don't really care. I think there are many ways around it. From an invasion perspective, right? Everybody is on equal footing there. And I think we have ways that we can combat losing local and still maintain our intel channels.
Actually, one of the things they need to change with the local change, because they're obviously on this track of every region needs to be the same. They did this thing with the moons and, all the mechanics.
And Hilmar admitted that was wrong.
The one thing, though, that needs to change is that if you're going to try this equitable share over null, then you need to get rid of NPC space, because not all the regions have it.
Well,
or better,
so why should there be easier access to certain regions?
No, it is better. Have every region at least in the range of either nullsec, of lowsec, or NPC space. They don't have it in their own, but I think it's like Queries doesn't have NPC, but a lot of Queries is in range of NPC Delve, and some things are in range of lowsec. So I think every region in the game, nullsec region, should be either in range of lowsec or NPC nullsec.
One of the things
really good point about this.
No, so
I think
Spider is like, it should be safe. No, null should not be
because
safe.
I remember Mittens
but
talking
all
about
of null should essentially be the same.
Hey, I remember Mittens talking about this 3 or 4 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago, that there should be no nullsec region that does not have an NPC constellation or two within it. The reason is it gives you a place to base out of and attack into that region. A region without it makes it challenges, right?
So are you saying that, like, because of lore reasons and the Triglavians hate the rogue drones, that the Triglavians should be given NPC space in the rogue drone regions?
They should just
take
it.
No,
but
I think lore. I don't give a shit about lore. I never have, and I think it's stupid in the game, especially in nullsec. HighSec, you need a story in HighSec because there's nothing else to freaking do there.
I understand that, like, you don't like lore, but I understand other people liking lore. So if they do it, and we need a lore reason for it, and the lore reason for this could quite definitely be that Triglavians should get their own NPC null in the drone regions. Yeah,
it's very easy. Everybody has their own pirate rats. They just are the NPC region.
This is literally like what McLeod meant when he said 20 minutes ago, lore takes 5 minutes if you know what you're doing. Don't know what we're doing, and we just came up with a lore reason to expand NPC space into the drone regions, into Tenerifis, into wherever,
Here's the thing. Someone said we want to make null safer, and that's absolutely not what we want. Nope. Especially not the FCs in this channel right now.
We want more reasons to shoot people in the fucking face. Please, just let us shoot people in the face.
The thing is, when there are no people to shoot in the face, we can't shoot them in the face.
Right.
There needs to be a reason for people to be and out there mining and doing Dead Space sites, stuff like that. And CCP has consistently been reducing the income in nullsec because it has become more and more safe, and you could start ratting with supers, and war crawls became a thing. That's why they kept reducing the income that you can make in these sites.
All right, I just want to like specify that I was called out by Jan of SMA in the chat as being not very diplomatic when I said that I wanted to shoot people in the face, and he's right. From a diplomatic perspective, that is not very diplomatic. But if we don't have people to shoot in the face, we don't have jobs, Jan. So yeah,
it's gunboat diplomacy. It works.
No, it's gun-based diplomacy.
There was a noticeable shift under Seagull and it was said by CCP many times. Hey, we want to make nullsec self-sustaining, right? So what they did was they made all the regions have the same stuff. They took away pauses without really giving us a good replacement because they reallocated those resources and they gave everybody the same resources essentially. And there was no reason to go and, have stuff in Outer Ring and Delve and other places, right? Yes, Mr. Roboto, I agree.
I don't.
Oh yeah.
Under Seagull, we had.
I think she was a terrible leader. Terrible leader.
She couldn't get her vision done, but at least under Seagull, we had a roadmap and we had.
At least we had a vision.
Yeah,
whether it was good or bad or indifferent, there was a vision.
You're living with the response of.
But there was a vision. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Right now, we literally have no direction, and it was all foretold down under. We're gonna do stuff whether it's right or wrong because we don't.
Yeah, I'd rather do too wrong and go extreme than do not enough.
When the face of a company says, we don't know what we're doing, and if it fucks it up, we don't care, that's not...
Well, the worst is when they double and triple down on that statement, right? Like it's a selling point of the thing, right? That's just not good business. I don't care where you are. They need to distribute the resources and not make everybody equal, but now they've got no storyline to do it, right? The challenge I have with CCP is they constantly solicit input from the player base, and they have a good mechanism for doing it within the CSM, and they ask for it, and then they just say, no, we're not going to do it that way.
Or,
right?
As in the case of the recent stuff, they just don't talk to the CSM.
Well, that meant that the CSM couldn't say, yeah, they talked to us about it. We told them it was hideously stupid, but they did it anyway. The Rorqual was like that. Citadels were like that. FozzieSaw was like that. Jump Fatigue was like that. They were said...
Troll Scepters.
Troll Scepters. Don't do these things because they're half-baked and they need tweaking.
And here is how we will abuse them if you do.
Yeah, that's the other thing that they've told. That the CSM has told them. We'll do this. So, Cloaky Camping, NGSA, part of that mission has got to be, look how bad this is, guys. We're going to show you exactly how bad these things are.
And the answer is obviously to remove local in exactly the same way as wormholes have it and not create a custom solution that actually works.
A custom solution, might I add, that they outlined themselves 5 years ago.
With the structures?
Yep, observation posts. They were talking
the
about how...
were a good idea.
If screwing up local doesn't work, but there's a lot of people who are ardently in favor of it and make a lot of noise when they say, well, we'll consider taking it out now, you'll see the structures get done. That'll be their compromise.
How long will that take?
It'll take them probably 2 months to make that decision.
Decision. Yes.
Chat, right? He says that they're making nullsec more dangerous, and he doesn't get that, for people like us, nullsec isn't going to get more dangerous. We have our super capital umbrella. We have our response system. Well, we have it down.
They thought they were going to make it more dangerous for us with FozzieSoft. They truly did.
Listen here, boy. I am the danger.
Well, why are we crying about this? Why do we care? Because
why is anybody crying about it?
We're not crying about it.
It makes it worse for the little guy. It forces people to either dock up or, unsub or not play, and we want more people in this game. This doesn't hurt us, it hurts everyone else. And it's going to be the same way with, just a thing that we also didn't chat about before pre-show, I think. The new insurance changes that have just hit Singularity that are cutting insurance down to like 20% of the ship's value. That doesn't hurt us. We have SRP program.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are telling me that all the crying and everything coming from nullsec isn't a meta play to give Aerith an excuse to economically ruin HiSec.
Oh no,
Aerith doesn't need an excuse.
No. So
here's Aerith's meta excuse for I'm going to financially ruin HiSec. All right, I'll lay it out in simple terms and go through it step by step. 1, Aerith gets a bug up his ass to financially ruin HiSec. 2, Aerith decides I'm going to financially ruin HiSec.
I mean, Aerith has just basically been spending the last 3 years trying to figure out how to justify it to everyone else and say, hey, we should go financially ruin HiSec. And CCP handed it him on a...
Yeah, so what CCP handed him, Noisy, is something that nullsec could coalesce around and join hands where people wouldn't even be in the same room as each other and be mad at CCP. And so some people want to punish CCP by doing this. Other people want to play the game by ruining HiSec and doing this. Personally, as just a line guy, I just want to go in and burn HiSec. Because they're sitting there, and by the way, when I see HiSec say, hey guys, harden the fuck up, you got some drifters, fucking deal with it and adapt. And my thing is, well, I'm adapting to something that CCP is throwing at us that's stupid, but I'm going to force you to adapt to me as a player coming after you. And when that happens, the tears and the rage will be amazing on Reddit.
Hey,
I want to see that.
Hey, Evocations at Hera. This is not what the Imperium thinks. This is what all of nullsec thinks.
Yeah.
So
the thing that's going on that people don't understand is literally mortal enemies are all working together to say, fine, you want to fuck over Null, we're going to all coalesce and become this great big huge blue donut that you supposedly don't want, and we're going to wreck another part of the game. And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We've managed to put the major
so
leaders
as HiSec says,
single
man
coalition.
up and defend your shit.
The major leaders of every single major coalition in nullsec is all in a Discord talking to one another, hashing these things out. These are people who have never been in the same place beyond like Vegas or whatever, because
and they
don't
stay
want
on
to talk to
opposite
each other.
sides
They
of
want
the
to
bar.
shoot to people. They want to shoot to each
These
other.
are people who literally hate one another.
Yeah.
But people, you're talking over Noisy all the time.
Sorry.
He was asking things.
So I just want to do the Too Long Didn't Read portion. So basically what you're telling me is shit rolls downhill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main function of Eve is give me a reason, give me something to rally behind, and I will rally behind it. That's how nullsec works, right? So all the herf and blurf to go to war against NC and PL, right? That just kind of gives us a reason to get some fervor up and go punish them, right? Same thing when they attack us. When the world attacked Goons, it was the same kind of rallying cry. What this drifter thing did, this stupid fucking mechanic that is terrible, did was, hey, CCP doesn't give a shit. They just really want to make our life hard, and they're doing something that we think is stupid, and so that gave all of nullsec a rallying cry to rally against CCP, but the only way to punish CCP is to make HiSec cry.
Also, with the mass amount of players, if players do leave nullsec, and we do see tons of Rockwell stop mining and ratting, we are going to see a recession, and prices are going to go up because the supply is going to absolutely cut down. We're not going to be producing as much stuff, but stuff will still get destroyed. So depending on the ratios, we could see prices going up across the board because the main economical powerhouses and the outputs aren't there anymore.
You
have to remember one thing about the economic thing and Aerith is Aerith sat on the CSM for a long time, and when CCP does things, Aerith actually tries to benefit the game as a whole, and says, this is really a bad idea because it can be exploited. And when CCP says, oh no, it would never work that way, Aerith goes, watch this shit. And he proves to them when they break the game that players will come up with creative ideas to prove CCP wrong. And that's basically what's going to happen with
Fortizar,
Dead Horror, he's never said...
Fortizar, tell me where outside Null you can get T2 Moongoose.
HiSec. Not HiSec, Wormholes. Wormholes have some.
Nope. And Losec.
You can't do moon mining in Worm.
You can, but you can only get a PV.
Losec's got a bunch of good moons.
Not a lot of them.
Yeah, you can make reactions out of Losec moons.
Not a lot of them.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
No, you have to travel. Right, it's the area that you have to cover and own is quite different than being in just one region.
I'm also gonna. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. See, I've witnessed goons and snuff dropping on mining operations in Losec. It's not a safe thing. Losec residents don't want to do the mining operations. One, the Losec residents don't want to mine. Two, they need to get HiSec residents to come out, and HiSec residents don't want to mine in Losec. So it's kind of So basically, even if people had the will to do it, there's probably not enough people to even come close to replacing the loss of Moongoose products that would come out of Null.
What's going to happen is, let's say that we've made NullSec more dangerous, folks, right? And there's less mining going on, less botting, less all of that stuff, right? So then the market, the available product in the market shrinks. That in and of itself are going to force the NullSec entities to trade among themselves regardless, so that they have all the coolest equipment and all the T2 stuff to battle each other, and HiSec is just going to be T1.
Hey, Frosty McMuggins, we can deal with all the drifter shit with literally 20 people. We already are, yeah. 20 people, that's all we need. The rest can go over and shoot shit everywhere.
You heard why...
I gotta bounce. I'll catch you guys later.
Thank you, Rendis. Appreciate you coming today.
Yeah, Frosty, you heard why I agreed to come on the show in the first place, right? It was because I was delusional after, many hours of anti-drifter shit.
I make that up. I just couldn't believe it that you were on in the morning. I'm like,
Frosty, the reason why we stopped the war is because we didn't know what the drifters would do,
right.
and because that not knowing of it has made the need of us to respond to it in a way that we know and make sure our space is safe, and that's the whole reason why we stopped the war. Not because we couldn't end the first day. I must say, it was the first set of drifters was much harder to deal with the groups, etc., than the later iterations.
I mean, here's a cliche for you, right? You hope for the best and you plan for the worst. It's a cliche, but it's what we did. We planned for the worst, and the worst was our entire region would get wiped, and we needed our Titans back home. So we took our Titans home. Test did the same thing. Fraternity did the same. NC have been pulling back away from our offensive against them, but they are doing the same thing. They're going home, or they're going to where they want to make their new home, which I think is Malpass, right, Mist?
Yes, Malpass. They have handed over.
They're preparing for it.
So this is what I think a lot of people who aren't Null think, that when we complain about a particular mechanic, we're just mad because it changes our gameplay. And that's completely not it. When I look at this mechanic and I look at a small entity that might be renting or trying to become a bigger entity in NullSec, this mechanic is a strong inhibitor to them growing and being there because they don't have the manpower to deal with this, right?
And Frosty, when you comment 20, 30 people can deal with it, yeah, they can deal with it now, but they couldn't deal with it when we were not in that time yet. So because we didn't know what was happening, we didn't know the mechanics, we didn't have all the organization set up. We only had G-Shuttle and some other people who had gunning rights to Citadels to wheel with them. A lot of people didn't have those rights. So what did we do in the first few days? Mittens and other people set up organizations to be able to deal with this. So we did that. And all those steps are made now that by the time we are now, we have 20 people to 30 people that are needed to deal with this. But we didn't know that. We had to organize ourselves for it. So that is the whole thing, that steps we need to take.
Here's an actual statistic for you. In the first week of the Drifter stuff, Goonswarm added more than 300 people. 300 characters, sorry, I know 5 of them were me, but 300 characters to our ACL lists.
Right.
And that's only the Kremlin ACL list. There are some other ACL lists where other people got added to. So it's probably 400 to 500 characters that got added to ACL lists.
Yeah, and when you talk about 20 characters, right? I mean, the last time we saw this, Dirk, we saw a 24-plus hour round-the-clock effort, right?
Yeah,
so you have 20 people at once, but they have to rotate through the time zones. And do you want to be...
Yeah, it works out as like 60 people, probably.
And I think it was Horrendous that maybe made this, but somebody made this this comparison, and I thought it was pretty good. Maybe it was Aerith. It is like being forced to log in and play the game, or you lose all the skill points that you would have gained that day, right? You are forced to log in to defend yourself against a mechanic that doesn't tire, can be turned up, can be turned down by the vendor and everything. And like I said, if you're a 100-man corp, you have maybe 40 or 50 people, you're not going to be able to defend your stuff around the clock like that. You're just going to lose.
Yeah, no.
And we don't want people to leave the game. See, we may enjoy the domination that we have in the game, but we don't want this game to go away because we like to play it.
There's nothing else like it. And honestly, you know, in wars, we organize ceasefires. Yeah. We organize, you know, ends to them. When we were at war with Dead Coalition last year, we organized a ceasefire in which they were losing. We knew they were losing, but we wanted to give them a break. And so we organized a 6-month, you know, we organized a 6-month-long nip in exchange for some sort of payment. It was some Fortizars or some bullshit. And we organized that. You can't do that with NPCs. You can't have a diplomatic relationship with them.
Yeah,
okay, for the good of everyone involved here, let's stop.
Yeah, and by the way, for the person who mentioned, hey, it's because you guys put so many structures down, you just can't imagine how many structures we have, but that's irrelevant because it was a per system thing, right? So you had to beat them down in a system, and then they'd be gone from that system, and they just moved on to the other. So even if you had one structure in every system, they're going to hit everything, right? They went from the jump gate to the Sino beacon to the guarding Fortizar or Peepstar or whatever, and just went around.
And one big reason to drop so many structures is because we like to mine and to moon mine, and we need those minerals to supply the high-sec market with all the T2 stuff that everybody needs. So there's a big reason for all those.
Yeah, if you have 50 moons in a system, you're going to have 50 citadels, right?
The structure spam in the game is asinine, and they need to fix it. They either need to bring back pauses that mine moons and get rid of those, but they have to figure out some kind of metric where it's like you can have X number of combat structures and X number of engineering structures in a system.
Right.
And be done with it. It's just ridiculous.
If they bring back the drifters that would kill low power structures, then I think a lot less people would have been annoyed with that, because it was like, okay, the low power, they want to get rid of the Citadel spam. It has a good reason to do that. And why not have drifters show up between 1 to 3 weeks after a structure goes low power? Something like that, set a random timer 1 to 3 weeks, and after that, drifters show up and start reinforcing it. So you can get rid of the Citadel spam and do that in null, high, and low sec. to get those things. I would love those kind of mechanics, and it would make sense and gets rid of part of the Citadel spam we are with. So yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You end up defending fit low power structures though, because the more structures you have in a system, the less likely people are to come at you. You know, you don't want to deal with the monotony, even if it's like just a low power structure that nobody's going to form a fleet up. We just went through grinding our region and we left a bunch of the low power ass house bullshit because it doesn't matter. It's encouraged because it makes things a grind to attack.
Right, and by the way, this is all stuff that, you know, from a Goonswarm perspective, we said being able to anchor structures anywhere in space like this is a bad thing because this is what's going to happen. But if you give us the mechanic and we tell you it's going to be abused, but you go ahead and do it anyway, don't expect us not to use it to our advantage. Right?
If you put a limit to the amount of structures in a system, then every nullsec entity is going to just put all the structures up to that limit in every system that is there.
Right.
And when enemies are invading, they don't have the chance to drop structures themselves, and it makes invading harder and low sec even safer. So
it doesn't make it harder, Apple. I mean, literally right now, it would take 6.5 years. 6.5 years of time to grind all the structures in Delve. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just insane.
That's in like man hours, by the way. That's not like
No,
you wouldn't have to spend 6.5 years. You do it in a month. You'd spend that amount of mana.
Remember, you have damage cap.
Someone just called the Highseekers innocent of this change. The same Highseekers who are screeching about these changes, cheering for CCP to finally, quote-unquote, dealing with nullsec. You mean those innocent players? Fuck you.
Wow.
Hey, this is
How
Eve.
do you really feel?
This is Eve. No one's innocent. Not even Noisy. I mean, he's a nice guy.
I mean, Noisy wants to play. I think Noisy should be able to play the game he wants to play. And he wants to mine in LowSec, and he should be able to do that.
You know, just as long as I have some place I can, you know, go and buy stuff. I mean, it doesn't even need to be Tech 2 stuff. I can go ahead and get the loyalty points and fit up with faction stuff. I can do that, okay? I just needed some place to, like, you know, buy some other stuff after I've got done ratting and running missions or stuff like that.
Hey, Frosty, I hate to tell you this, but Mittens wasn't even playing the game yet and Highsec was screeching. So we don't want to hear it.
The one thing I do want to say about the difference between Highsec and nullsec is the amount of PI you get on planets. As exciting as PI is, if you compare the amount of PI you get in Highsec, lowsec and nullsec, you would find that it's just an astronomically large amount more that you get in nullsec. So if we do stop shipping all the stuff and we only ship structures down, prices are going to go up. If you remove the amount of supply of structures going in from all that PI from Highsec, from lowsec, prices are going to jump up and skyrocket. There's no spin on that. There's no spin. It is, you get, like 500% more PI out in, that's just a random number, in null than you do in low.
And quite frankly, I'm actually looking to start up my planetary interaction colonies again, because I'm hoping that you guys are gonna hit and embargo and all this other stuff with planetary interaction products, and then I can like slip in, sell my stuff. Hopefully, you guys don't gank me, and then I can slip out and make a lot of money.
Yep.
Well, try not to get
Noisy, you call me, man, when you need an escort, and I'll make sure you don't get gay.
Hey, I will tell you that I was not in Goonswarm during the first ice interdiction that Goonswarm did in Highsec. I bought the shit out of every piece of ice that I could and everything, and I made tons of money not being in Goons because of some action that Goons did. And it was speculative, and it just, I mean, I was selling things for more than twice what I bought it for in the end. It was great. I loved it.
I mean, this is what people don't understand, right? We have the manpower to be able to go, if we shut off our Moongu income, high-sec producers can't be competitive. They can't make money against nullsec importing. Especially when nullsec comes into high-sec and starts ganking your Hulks and your Machinors and your Orcas and whatever that are all made from nullsec minerals that get imported to high-sec, because we have too much of it.
Well, here's the thing, too. But that's part of high-sec gameplay. I mean, Hilmar has said himself, nobody is completely safe anywhere in EVE. There is no non-PvP safe place in EVE. And for some reason, I think some folks in high-sec tend to get that. Yeah, you get... Yeah, but Frosty McNuggets, when we start buying out certain things in the high-sec markets that only come from nullsec, it won't be available to you to get any of that stuff.
You know,
right? And by the way, Fist Ice, thank you for the subscription. We appreciate that. Tier 1. Tier 1. 12 months.
All those innocent high-sec people that want to avoid the high prices that are coming to high-sec are free to come to nullsec.
Yeah, come play the game like we do.
Yeah,
hey,
Panda's recruiting.
Go ahead, form your own alliance and try to push us out of our space. Go take your own space. That is what nullsec is about. Not stupid NPCs interfering with wars.
Yeah, I mean, person versus person, that is their player versus player, that is what nullsec is about. The other thing is, I have played in high-sec. I have dabbled in low-sec, and I have lived for years and years and years in wormhole space under smaller organizations. Our organization came to Goonswarm, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize what I was truly missing in the game. For all these years I've been playing the game, it just really wasn't as much fun. And then I came here, and I'm like, wait a minute, we built this. It wasn't, I'm not docking in some high-sec station, right? We built this, and it is really cool. And for the people who think, oh, we have our own identity, we have our own personality in our corp, and we're just not goons and we just wouldn't fit in, that's all bullshit. Because there are hundreds of goon corporations, and they all have their own identity, and they are all very different. And, you know, Goonswarm is probably the greatest example of there are people with all kinds of differing personalities and belief systems and political views and everything, and everybody's still capable of striving for the same goal. So when you think that we just whine and bitch and moan and we're terrible, to be honest, guys, there's this, maybe the world should work like this a little more.
I mean, we are awful. We are terrible people. We openly accept that most of us are assholes that don't like other people. But, you know,
like
within Goonswarm, we have our guys. They're our guys, and they're who we work with and who we defend. We defend.
They are our assholes.
I saw a wonderful thing. I saw a wonderful thing just like yesterday or the day before about what does puppy mean, and it's like puppy means you're not one of us.
Yeah.
But if you are one of us, we will do as much as we fucking can to help you.
Yeah, like puppy's not a goon term. Puppy's a general gaming term that was around way before goons even came into the game. So they just like brought the term in, and everybody just started associating puppy with stuff goons say.
See, even Noisy is defending us on that front. Like, if Noisy's defending us on that front, you know that we're not talking.
Hell, I may go to low sec and mine with Noisy.
I'm going to high sec, and I'm going to kill some things, kill some bitches.
I'm gonna run some level 4s and kill Zor.
I'm gonna run level 4s.
Killed him like 5,000.
What the hell did we used to run? I don't even think.
Drake.
Drake. No, we didn't do Drakes. We did something else. What was that
Drake.
missile? That other thing it's a cool looking ship.
So Drake is the best ship in the game.
I love the Drake.
Hey, Maelstroms. I was flying Maelstroms before you guys
Raven,
were.
the Raven. They
I
got it,
used
the
a Raven Navy issue and a Maelstrom together.
Yep, Navy Raven.
I mean, just use the cheap Marauders that you're going to get from North.
There you go.
The high-sec guys aren't going to get.
The high-sec guys.
Oh, God. It's Eve. I mean, it's like, it's never ending, and that's why we play. You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's fun.
matter what they do.
I mean, every action has a counter action. If high-sec doesn't... See, this is the funny thing. If high-sec doesn't like what we do, don't complain to CCP to get them to do your dirty work. Come out and get some balls and toughen up and actually come after us. Or try and do the diplomatic relations to get everybody in the world to come after us again. Because you know where we live. It's Delve.
Or put in an application and come find out that Goons is not what you think it is. Because I'm telling you flat out, I was the biggest Goons guy ever in the game 6 years ago. Hated them, couldn't stand them. And when you're actually around us, you're going to go, wow, these guys aren't so bad.
No, you're not. You're going to say, oh my God, they're bigger dicks than we
Or
ever imagined.
keep reading the Reddit salt because, you know, if that's what gets you off, read the Reddit salt.
We're awful, but so are you.
But you know, most of the people that play in high-sec don't follow the meta. They don't follow the news. All they're going to do is they're going to see that the prices went up. They're not going to understand why, and they're just going to keep playing the game, and it's not going to actually matter.
And it may not to some of them, right? I mean, unless we're blowing them up constantly, right?
Yeah, and those are the guys that actually you're not pissed at.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, right? I mean, all you guys saying salt from us, we don't really care. By the way,
we're not salty.
Noisy. By the way, Noisy's not a goon. He's not pro goon. You know, he's just a guy that I've chatted with occasionally. I think you've been on the. Have you been on the show before, Noisy, or something?
I might have been. I may have been on once. Yeah. A long time ago.
Yeah. You know, and he may have differing views than us and things like that, but we show him the due respect that he deserves because he's just a fellow Eve player. We don't really care.
Yeah, I don't think Undead Horror actually understands Lee feeding Goons right now in chat.
Here's the thing.
That's the reaction we want. We're enjoying your tears. We lick your tears from your cheeks.
We have managed to successfully verbally PvP you without logging into the game. Like at that point, what more do we want? Come on.
Popcorn,
okay, can I tell a secret?
Go ahead, Noisy. Go ahead.
One of the big reasons that Goons and Mittani and everybody are so pissed off about the drifters is they can't smack talk them. They can't do stuff like that. So what they're doing is they're going to go to high-sec where they can get that reaction, and that is not a joke.
That is totally not a joke. I totally agree with that one.
Now, I will tell you, Noisy, I will tell you, there was some very graphic stuff going on in local when I was gutting Citadels, and I was smack-talking those frickin' drifters.
It really was.
I know. You know, rumor has it Hilmar reads all of that stuff when the drifters are there. So that's a good job, Toad.
I hear LT Maximo tried to smack talk drifters in his monitor, and they actually doomsdayed him while he was tethered. So
I mean, LT Maximo kind of deserves it, but whatever. But yeah, how was it that Mittens put it when we were talking about whether or not we'd carry on beyond Tribute and Tenal? I think he put it like this. We're going to carry on and we're going to keep pushing the knife in until we start seeing bleeding and twitching and screaming. We want the bleeding and the twitching and the screaming. We don't really care how...
And telling us that we're being salty is the same to us.
I know, I don't understand that. I'm not salty.
I don't care. If I quit this game tomorrow, I'd be calling Newbie up. Hey, you coming out next month? What are we doing?
Hey, you coming out?
Some
Dude, I quit Eve. Let's get drunk.
he probably wants more of your bacon.
No, Eric loves my sausage. He can't get enough of my sausage.
By the way, we're having some of your sausage tonight.
Yes, I'm always giving
you. Wait.
Mrs. Eric's got the sausage in the fridge. She's ready, baby.
You have this sausage in a
Yes,
fridge.
he loves my sausage.
My wife brought the sausage in from Newbie Sausage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You heard it.
Soth is like, holy
what the fuck is going on? Last time Newbie was out here, he brought like, I don't know, 60 or 70 pounds worth of sausage and bacon and ham products from some of his pigs. And so we like to play on that a little bit, Soth, and have fun with it.
You know, the thing is, I have to try and not key up when I'm laughing my ass off, because I need to maintain that I am always angry.
You know. I think it would actually be good for the game, Soth, if people really understood that you're a normal person and you're not always angry. So
I think it'd be good for the game if Soth stopped keying up, but yeah, we don't always get what we want.
Be honest, Horrendous sent you that line.
He actually didn't. You wish Horrendous sent me that.
And Eric is now typing.
I am. I have the loudest keyboard under the sun.
His
and by the way, the cloaky, or is it?
I have to wear earplugs when I sleep at his house because his freaking keyboard wakes you up.
Is this before or after you steal the sausage from the fridge?
He brings the sausage.
Well, it's after I bring the sausage for them to enjoy and develop.
It's Newbie Sausage. We have it.
Have you guys not seen all those nice pictures of Total Newbie sausages and how they become sausage?
I don't want to see any.
In the HKO General, I think he sent a lot of pictures.
Yeah, throw it. He can see it at HKU.
I
mean, there's bacon seeds all over there. I proved to everybody there was bacon seeds in the world.
Yes.
Bacon seeds. I've seen them.
So I think we need to do one last thing there, big guy.
We do. We've been an hour and a half, really long show. I want to thank Apple and Dirk and Noisy and Soth for what? We always want to thank. We thank everybody for coming on the show. We're just nice people. We're goons, but we're polite.
We're goons. We're nice.
We're not. We are polite. Even if those guys who said, "Oh, you guys are just salty little pieces of shit out there in our chat," we don't really care. We drink with you.
Poor Agent Barracuda is feeding me. Thank you, Agent. You're just feeding me. I'm getting this full salty tear thing. I love it. Nom 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 nom.
Alrighty, one last thing. Round the horn. We'll start with Mist because somebody said he's being too quiet. I think his phone just ran out of battery, but we'll find out.
No. I just don't want to get involved in the spin of everything. But real facts is I think we're going to see, if everyone unsubs, if we do have a mass web unsubbing, we'll see a economical recession, prices going to go down, production's going to go down across the board. Prices will go up probably because there'd be less stuff, but stuff will still be blowing up. PI will probably get more and more expensive because people aren't going to want to do it.
Yeah, we got to do that, Mix.
Yes, Mix, and we are trying to figure out what we're going to do the next 2 weekends, because Eric is down by the sea for the next 2 weekends. So we're going to see if we're going to play something pre-recorded or partially. So we still have part of that to play, and we've been saving it because we might have a hiatus. We might not. We got to figure out what we're going to do the next 2 weeks. So
sorry, Mist.
Yeah, sorry, Mist.
Yeah, we're just going to see a tinker-tatter of prices for PI going up, so everyone starts producing it again because it goes over the threshold of, yes, you want to kill yourself, but you actually get some money for doing it.
Oh, sounds like it.
And then it's going to go down when everyone does it, and then everyone doesn't want to do it again and stuff. Either way, I think we'll see that. Plus, I think we'll see some sort of observation platform because CCP is creating a problem, and then they're going to give you a structure that fixes.
Really not sure what Undead Horror is saying down there. We don't understand the game.
He's in full screech mode.
I don't know.
He is. He's in complete He just a little bit of denial, I think.
I think Undead Horror is suffering from the fact that the only people willing to talk about this at the moment are goons. You know, NC don't talk about PL don't talk about anything. Horde struggle to...
What are we in denial of? We're having fun.
Yeah, what are we denying?
You know,
I did say Undead Horror. That's like, isn't that, or, you know, is that horror?
The thing is, this is an open show, so if one of those guys wants to come on here...
hold on.
Undead Horror, you can spew your point of view all day. All you got to do is ask. We'll put you on the show.
We have an awful point of view. I'm loving this. Hold on. You're denying you're the ones causing your own issues. Okay, so what's the issue? Hold on. What's the issue that we're causing?
At least we have issues.
Yeah, we have a lot of issues. No,
yeah, we know what our problems are, thanks.
I'm in touch. Hold
it. We caused the blue donut. There wasn't a blue donut until the drifters happened, and then CCP caused the drifters to happen, and then every single major nullsec leader said, we're not fighting each other. We're going to figure out how we're going to retaliate against this. So everybody's in a blue donut right now, and the only person who caused it was Hilmar.
I don't know. I don't know. Somebody else had to. Somebody had to be complicit.
I'm blaming Hilmar.
Wait a minute.
Controversy.
Wait a minute.
I'm blaming Hilmar. Come on.
I don't want this to. I want people to blame goons for everything because that's how we get content. So no, goons did it. We did it.
Either way, you know, Hilmar might have made the decision, but somebody had to push the code live because let's be honest, Hilmar doesn't interact with the server.
So Undead Horror, You're just telling us nothing will happen. Okay.
Okie dokie. You keep believing that, big guy. Nothing's going to happen. It's safe. HiSec is going to be very safe. You can have your little safe space.
He is raging a lot, though. I'm kind of enjoying this. What's the next thing he's going to say?
No,
now we're retarded.
I'm retarded. I'm going full retard. Somebody ping it out on Jabber. Newbie has gone full retard.
I gotta go pull the salt plug back out. Jesus Christ!
Oh, get the
salt
you know what?
Oh my God! I gotta pull that back out of storage.
As somebody said earlier, that is indeed a Himalayan pink salt plug for those people.
I mean. Are we gonna stop?
Because we didn't have the salt in the war, but I mean, this just took care of like the past month that it was in storage. Jesus.
Are we gonna start talking about the weaponized autism next? I mean, really?
And Ulysses is the only one that gets it. It is exciting, Ulysses, and it's gonna be exciting, and that's what Eve should be for everybody.
We don't suppress any other viewpoints. Noisy, you have some different viewpoints. Did we suppress you today?
I don't think Noisy agrees with anything we ever say.
Okay.
Well, I agree with a couple things, but like lore's not important in an MMORPG. Yeah, that's kind of like that.
That's just Eric. I mean,
that's Eric. I mean, without it, we wouldn't have Space Pope, and I love.
That's true. You would not have.
I'm sorry, guys. I timed Undead Horror out for 10 minutes. He's, the retarded comments not allowed on the chat.
Oh. Oh.
Just so everybody knows who did it and why. It's not because he's bitching and moaning at us, because that's absolutely fine.
So let's do one last thing, and maybe we can give it to...
Well, Mist already did his, so
Dork.
RJ, let's do your one last thing.
Yeah.
And it can't be about being sweaty and swampy cutting your grass.
No. This actually be related. I personally hope that this goes the route of where Mist was talking about, that those listening stations or whatever they're calling it, observer stations and whatnot, are going to come out to take care of this, and they're going to take control of that local away from Concord, and they're going to give more control out to the nullsecers, because that's our empire, and that's a thing that has been missing from our castle that we've been building, is the control over the communications and recon and so on and so forth. So hopefully that brings that into our gameplay now, and I would welcome that, and that would make it a little bit cooler. But if not, I would consider probably other things.
Okay, it's good. It's good. Noisy, I'm gonna do you a little later. Let you think about things. Apple Pear, you got anything?
I'm just going to shoot things.
Excellent. I will follow your fleet anywhere, and I'll actually try to be in the right ship next time. Dirk.
I think CCP are being really rather stupid at the moment. I think they're being stupider than they've been in a long time. I think that the whole local thing, making it wormhole local is lazy fucking game design, and I wish they'd actually get off their asses and come up with a solution that helps us create more conflict in Null, not less. I don't think this is going to do that. I think it's just going to change the way that we use our super capital umbrella, and really, CCP are just being silly at the moment by not communicating with us and not listening to what we're telling them about the things that they're doing, because really there are a lot of people in nullsec, in highsec, in lowsec, wherever, who are far more expert in the area of space that they live in than any CCP dev around, and I don't think that they realize what they don't know just yet.
Cool. I'm gonna go ping Billy Bob here. So that's Apple, Dirk, Mist, RJ, Soth. Let's put you up.
I really wonder which part of the community CCP is going to piss off next. First, the tournament people, after promising them over and over again that they're going to support them and make tools for them, and then gave them fuck all and basically told the big tournaments that they can fuck off. Now they're telling nullsecers to basically fuck off, after telling them over and over again that they're not going to interfere in nullsec politics, then interfering in nullsec politics with some stupid NPCs. So I'm really wondering which part of the community they're going to go against next, especially after Hilma likes to point out on every occasion that EVE only exists because of the community.
I think that's a fair point. I think it's a fair point. How about you, Noisy?
Okay, my takeaway is I'm going to be very interested to see what the Q2 and Q3 numbers are for Pearl Abyss and CCP, because Pearl Abyss announces, or at least they did in the last investors call, how much money CCP is bringing in. So we're actually going to be able to see probably in November what all of this has done financially for CCP. So I'm going to wait 6 months or 4 months or whatever, however long it is.
And
so I heard through the grapevine that the total was 13 mil for last year.
I heard the total was 13 mil for first quarter.
That's first quarter this year.
I heard it was for the year.
Total, where did you hear that?
Some dork.
Okay, so you
I don't like to dox people on the show.
I'll confirm that. I will confirm
13 mil USD for first quarter.
13 mil. Yeah, that's what Pearl Abyss released.
I think that's revenue, though. That's not profit.
Yeah,
so,
that's revenue.
But, CCP... Hey.
EBTA type stuff, Noisy?
Yeah, I don't know about I don't think they can do EBTA yet because they acquired them too soon, or they've only acquired them like 6 months ago. But they just said basically when you did the conversion from WAN, they said revenue was it came out to be like 12 to 13 million, and it's going to be interesting to see if that goes up or down. And so I'm going to just see what it looks like over the summer.
So that was gross revenue, is what you're saying?
Operating revenue, I think it was.
Operating revenue. Okay, so that's not exactly the same as net profit, but there's some things left out of that.
Yeah, so it's like you can't like go all the way, and then that's probably not going to take into account any tax breaks that CCP gets from Iceland and things like that we've seen them get in the past.
Yeah, so I mean, 13 million on the quarter. Not really a good number in my mind. I'm thinking.
From what I mean, we were having this chat in when we were playing a Cards Against Humanity game last night, and the Mittani turned up, and he did say that from stuff that he'd heard while he was on the CSM years ago, 13 to 15 million USD profit was basically CCP's average year-long turnover. So at that point, operating revenue of 13 million in a quarter is actually not awful.
Well, it's just, much better than it was 3-4 years ago. That's for sure. I'm looking at it on the price that they paid for CCP games, right? So when you look at their operating revenue, you've got to count that by quarter over 3 years to see if they're actually going to make anything off of CCP games, right? Just making a profit doesn't matter if you're not bringing in more than the cost. Right, so 350 million to buy it, right?
Also, just
think about that. 350 million to buy it. How many quarters do you have to come up with just to pay off your purchase?
Yeah, Pearl Abyss is going to need CCP to get the mobile games going, to get the first-person shooter going. They've gotten an initiative to try to really pound on South Korea to get a lot of players out of South Korea. If they're able to do that, because that would be Pearl Abyss doing that. If they're able to do that and get EVE Online up to speed there, plus Pearl Abyss and CCP have not been able to get China up and running because the Chinese government is upset about something, or they haven't satisfied the Chinese government yet.
Yeah, actually, it's not terrible. It's 2.4 years to pay off that debt, but EVE's got to last that long.
It'll last that. It'll last.
And that doesn't include any new investments, right? So, okay, yeah.
I mean, the new first-person shooter is something that I'm probably going to play. I like first-person shooters. Saucer Silk and
yeah, I think
verified. It's
one game with CCP is enough for me.
I'm looking forward to being able to shoot people in the face in EVE Online. Sounds fun.
What, RJ? What about the salt plug? What's going on there?
You got to read the tweet thing up above. Like it just blew through my closet door and hit the other side of the fucking wall.
Hold it.
Evocation ad hero on Twitter.
Hold it. Who at Imperium News said that we're unhappy with the blackout? Didn't we say we liked the blackout?
I liked the blackout.
Mittens was tweeting that he wanted the blackout. He approved of it and how great it was and how CCP was doing it right because they talked to the CSM for years and discussed it and everything like that.
Yeah, I think the funny thing is, this is recorded. I'm pretty sure it's gonna bear out that we didn't say we were gonna ruin the markets and blow up HiSec. That's funny. That's funny. I gotta respond to this dude. The salt is real out there. Woo!
I'm not sure about the blackout. As an FC, I like it. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's gonna be easier to catch people. There's gonna be more things that there's gonna be more problems to solve as an FC, right?
Okay.
I like that, but I can see over my own horizon, this can lead to problems.
I'll just make Saucer still do fleet warps for my fleet again.
Yeah,
it's fine. He does it well.
We said, and to be clear with everybody out there, and we've been saying this, we are highly against the drifter mechanic because it's just stupid gameplay. It doesn't do anything for the game. We think it has negative impact on the game. Forget the fact. I mean, I played for many hours. Dirk played for many more. Hey, we defended our stuff. We did what we did because we want to support our people, right? We defend the stations, the 20 people who we're defending at any given time, defend the realm for other people to have an advantage. That's that's part of our culture. Okay.
We turn up so our line members don't have to.
Right. That's part
so
of our
that they
culture.
can enjoy the game in the way that they want to, because we took up space. We volunteered ourselves for the idea that actually we want to support other people doing what they want to do, and you know what they want to do is shoot people in the face.
Right.
So here's another thing. Like we keep talking about like making nullsec more profitable, giving people a reason to be in nullsec. And people seem to think what we mean is give goons more money. And that's totally not what we mean with it. I want nullsec to be more profitable so more people come into nullsec so I can do more PvP. I don't care about how much ISK I get for shooting red crosses. Because I don't do that. I'm an FC. I do PvP. Nothing else.
You know what's hilarious? Sothersil and Applepear and I all get paid for taking fleets out to shoot people. We make money from that.
Oh, wait a minute.
We don't lose money.
Applepear and Soft get paid to shoot people. You get paid to whelp fleets.
I mean...
that hurts.
Okay, sure, Newbie. But I mean... Here's the thing, right? We don't lose money when we lose FC ships. We get paid for them.
Right.
We make money every time we do a fleet. So, like, we don't care how much money people make in nullsec. We make money for doing what we do for fun. Here's a plug. If you want to join Goonswarm and you want to FC, we will pay you to do it. But, you know,
but don't FC because you want to get ISK, because that's a bad idea.
Well, that's a bad idea, but I mean, we still get paid for doing what we enjoy. So we don't care about the amount of money that people are making. We care about whether or not it gets more people out into space so that we can do what we...
So, oh, by the way, I have to go. BT.com, thank you very much for the subscription with Twitch Prime. I will work with Billy Bob later. By the way, this whole show, this tweet came out of this show. It is the greatest amount of salt, and it's beautiful, and I love this tweet. I'm going to frame it. I'm going to share it with my corp. We'll share it with everybody. And by the way, official word from the Imperium probably is we love the blackout. It's going to be great. And this show has never said we're going to ruin anything because of the blackout. However, we did say that the response to the stupid drifter mechanic, which is just terrible gameplay for anybody in the game, it's not a positive thing, has caused nullsec to band together. And yes, they are going to go after highsec. Aerith said that. They said it on the Meta Show last week. It's not us saying it new today. We're just talking about what other people said. Do you guys all agree with that? Am I crazy?
You're crazy, but I agree with you anyway.
Okay.
All right, so who have we missed?
I think...
You.
The only reason I'm in a hurry is because I've literally drank 14 gallons of coffee and I have to pee.
You have to pee.
You're not the only one who needs to pee.
By the way, do you have to come back to my house and get beer yet? Are you out of beer? Do you need new kegs?
Almost. God, I had a lot of beer last night.
All right. Alrighty, go newbie. And then I've said enough. I don't need one last thing.
Normally my last thing would be something about the game, but actually I'm kind of glad to see all the new faces in the chat, even the ones that disagree with us. We think there's nothing wrong with disagreement.
Yeah.
Hope you all keep hanging out. We like to have fun. And any of you who do disagree, you're more than welcome to PM any of us.
By the way, there is somebody last week, I think it's Jaliant or somebody, I have to respond to them and get them going. I was just too busy last week with everything that went on, and I am sorry for not getting back to you.
So thanks for the audience, because without you, we got nothing to do.
It was great. Even the people who disagree with us, and Undead Horror, all of them, right? Just don't say retard Undead Horror.
Right.
You can
and even if Lupo thinks I do absolutely nothing, while I'm doing the show.
By the way, Undead Horror, I believe that highsec, this is my one last thing, should be only 4 systems. That's it. That's all they need. And by the way, yes, I believe that every station, even in highsec, should be destroyable. So
no, No, we need 5 stations in HiSec. We
Four.
need 5 HiSec systems because we need the newbie systems, and then we need G.
Okay, I'll give you 1 newbie system. That's all you need because you're only retaining 4% of the people. It's not that many freaking people. They only need 1 system. Okay. Alrighty, folks. Thank you again for another week. We will we'll tweet out something about what we're going to do next week and everything, and we will get the rest of the Tuzzy interview up because it was just freaking hilarious. It was good stuff. He was great. Thank you to everybody who came on the show. Apple, Dirk, Noisy, Soth, much appreciated. You're always welcome, and Arendis too, who came by. So, all right, everybody. Let me see. Everybody say bye while I do the station identification. Hang around at 4.
Goodbye.
By the way, all the people who are complaining about goons during this particular show, hang out for the meta show at 4. It's gonna be great. Later. Bye.